Okay, bros. We are here for your weekly NXT Fix, featuring the ever so popular Bro Ratings. Now, here's your host. Okay, bros, I'm your host, Jimmy the Gibson, and we're here for another episode of your weekly NXT Fix. NXT is heating up this summer. Big announcement made this week. The upcoming NXT TakeOver, Sunday, August 22nd, one night after SummerSlam. And you know things are going to be crazy for a TakeOver in the middle of the summer. So, let's get right into it. This week on NXT, we opened up with Samoa Joe's in-ring interview. This is the fallout from last week. Last week's title match between Karrion Kross and Johnny Gargano. Samoa Joe comes out and says, "Tick-tock, guess who's here to smash your clock?" And obviously he's referring to Karrion Kross, choking him out, putting the cross jacket on him, putting him to sleep at the end of last show. Well, Samoa Joe says, "Regal, get out here." General Manager William Regal comes out trying to calm Samoa Joe down. And Samoa Joe says, "Consider me officially provoked." And this is great. This is fantastic storytelling here. Well, William Regal says, "Joe, promise me one thing, this will end peacefully." Samoa Joe says, "Well, I can guarantee you this will end tonight, but I can't guarantee you it will end peacefully. And tonight, someone will go to sleep." And that was a fantastic opening promo. Joe is waiting for Kross to arrive to NXT, and he is fired up, rightfully so. What's going to happen here? Who knows? Really love this opening segment. Bros, we're going to give this one a 7.5 on the Bro Ratings. Moving on, Xia Li tells everyone that she will become the first ever Chinese NXT Women's Champion. And our next in-ring contest was a tag team match between Diamond Mine, Tyler Rust, and Roderick Strong versus the team of Bobby Fish and Kushida. Now, this I thought was much better than Bobby Fish one-on-one versus Tyler Rust. You know, the element of Roddy Strong and Kushida really picked up the pace of this match. I thought it was a pretty solid tag team match. Now, as I predicted last time, I thought for sure Diamond Mine was going to get the win, but it was Bobby Fish knocking Roderick Strong to the outside, and Kushida locks on the hoverboard lock to Tyler Rust, and he tapped out. Your winners, Kushida and Bobby Fish, and you know this storyline is going to keep going. Now we can have individual matches. Bobby Fish versus Roddy Strong, Tyler Rust versus Kushida, and the match we want to see, Roddy Strong versus Kushida. So, pretty decent tag team match, bros. We're going to give this one a 7.7 on the Bro Ratings. Moving on. LA Knight, yeah. And he's being driven to the arena by Butler Cameron Grimes. And he says, "Get these bags, Butler." Cameron Grimes says, "Well, sure thing, Mr. Knight. I know a thing or two about carrying bags." And he's stumbling and dropping them. Well, Drake Maverick runs over, helps out Cameron Grimes. "Here, let me give you a hand with that." LA Knight said, "What are you doing? Don't you dare help them. As a matter of fact, who signed your permission slip, kid?" And Drake Maverick says, "I'm just helping him with bags. Relax, man." LA Knight says, "Well, if you want to help out so much, how about you help yourself to the ring, because you and I are going to have a fight tonight." And then we see Samoa Joe just pacing back and forth. He is fired up. He's ready for Kross. Next in-ring match, Jayne. That's right, Jayne versus Franky Monet. La Wera Loca. It's Franky. I mean, Franky Monet is a top-tier talent here in NXT. It's only a matter of time before she goes to Raw or SmackDown. That's going to happen, so enjoy her time while we have her in NXT. Franky Monet pretty much dominated this. Jacy Jayne got in a couple moves, nothing spectacular. But what was very interesting, Franky Monet was accompanied by Jessi Kamea, and then running down the ramp, he was late, Robert Stone at ringside. So I thought that was pretty interesting there. What was maybe even more interesting was Franky Monet hits the Glam Slam on Jacy Jayne, and during the match, Mandy Rose is shown just sitting on the commentary table. So who knows what's going on here between Mandy Rose and Franky Monet. But after the Glam Slam, 1, 2, 3, Franky Monet is your winner. It was a squash match, but I guess they're evolving the storyline between Franky Monet and Mandy Rose. So we're going to give this one a 6.8 on the Bro ratings. Moving on. Now, since their match last week, Johnny Gargano says he's been better. Austin Theory says he hasn't slept in weeks. Johnny's like, what are you talking about? That had nothing to do with you. Well, Kyle O'Reilly comes out and he goes, you know what? I'm in the fighting mood, so I'm going to challenge you, and points at Austin Theory. Austin Theory says, all right, I accept. O'Reilly walks away and Johnny says, Austin Theory, you ready for this? Don't you want to be just like your Papa John? And he's like, yeah, let's go. And he goes, well, you're going to have to go at this one alone, kid. Pretty hilarious stuff. And leads right into that match, Kyle O'Reilly versus Austin Theory tonight on NXT. And it was a great match. Austin Theory has a lot of upside. Couple fantastic moves. Kyle O'Reilly has a plethora of fantastic moves. But what was real interesting, towards the end, Austin Theory picked up the steps and something in Kyle O'Reilly just snapped. He saw that. He beat the crap out of Austin Theory to the point where he got him in the ring, hit him with a brain buster, hit him with a diving knee drop onto his leg, hooked in the heel hook. Austin Theory tapped. Your winner, Kyle O'Reilly. But he absolutely snapped. He's got that fire in his eyes. And, bros, with that being said, we're going to give this match a 7.8 on the Bro ratings. And now, for your 1-minute figure review. Bros, this is the figure we're going to be talking about today. It is the NXT TakeOver Johnny Gargano. That's right. He unfortunately lost the championship match against Karrion Kross last week, but check this out. I mean, for a basic NXT TakeOver figure, looks pretty good. Looks like Mr. Gargano right there. Now, Johnny Gargano made his NXT debut June 18th, 2015. That's, I mean, well over 6 years now with this company. So NXT TakeOver, Johnny Gargano. I mean, if this guy's not Mr. NXT, I don't know who is. Maybe Triple H, maybe Finn Balor, maybe Adam Cole, baby. But Johnny Gargano, awesome NXT TakeOver figure. Now back to me. And we're back! NXT continues on this week. Backstage interview. Mackenzie Mitchell says, talking to Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, and she says, you know what? Xia Li is saying she will win the NXT Championship tonight. Raquel says, you know what? Everybody's been saying that same thing. Xia's kick doesn't scare me. Her bodyguard doesn't scare me. And you know what? Her little friend on the throne doesn't even scare me. So we're going to see what happens. Next in-ring segment, Legado del Phantasma's Mariachi Madness Musical. I know where this is going. This is a mock on Hit Row's Championship Cypher celebration. Well, Santos Escobar calls off the Mariachi players, saying, we're not going to need you tonight. But, of course, Hit Row then arrives. And you know what? Ashanti the Adonis always starts it off. He's the hype man. B-Fab, put him on notice. And B-Fab comes out there, and she says, you know what? You're going to be celebrating your birthday quinceañera paid for by Daddy Santos. Talking about Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. Big diss to them. And then, of course, who hotter than Top Dollar? Not Nada. And Top Dollar says, y'all stacked on top of each other is like 6'8". But I was taller than that in 6th grade. Great lines. Go back and listen to some of these lines. Well, Swerve then gets the microphone and says, you know what? Santos and I, we have history together. But now, it's my turn to make Santos my bitch. And then they brawl a little bit, so this is clearly setting up some matches between Hit Row and Legado del Phantasma. Really enjoyed this segment. This is what we need to start that feud. So, bros, we're going to give this one a 7.5 on the bro ratings. Moving on. The Way is backstage freaking out. And Indy Hartwell says, Candice is being too hard on us. And if Austin wants to kiss Dexter, then let him kiss Dexter. Austin Theory goes. And they're arguing. And Austin Theory says, you know what? This family's falling apart. And then he walks away. William Regal then assured Samoa Joe that Karrion Kross is on his way. Joe says, you know what? I respect you, Regal, but I will be the first person to greet Kross tonight. Regal said, Joe, you must deal with this peacefully, please. Our next in-ring segment was a match one-on-one in the NXT Breakout Tournament. It was Andre Chase versus Odyssey Jones. Both big men. Andre Chase, pretty tall guy. Odyssey Jones, former football player. He was a monster. And really enjoyed Odyssey Jones with his gear paying tribute to the Nation of Domination, Mark Henry. So pretty solid match between the two. I think both of them have a lot of promise here at NXT. But it was Odyssey Jones with the sidewalk slam into the rock bottom. Whatever they're going to call that move for the 1, 2, 3. Very solid match between these two. Odyssey Jones, early favorite to win this tournament. But I think I said that last week as well. So, with that being said, bros, we're going to give this one a 7.7 on the bro ratings. Moving on. MSK will welcome any and all challengers. And MSK then is about to tell Mackenzie what MSK stands for. And they say, picture it. Dayton, Ohio, 2015. And then a video interrupts them from Imperium, who is here to protect the purity of our sport. So there's an obvious challenge there. Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan are ready to have a scrap next week with Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. Our next match was Drake Maverick versus L.A. Knight. Yeah, accompanied by his personal butler, Cameron Grimes. This was a glorified squash match. But in the end, Cameron Grimes was there, holding up the $1 Million Championship. Drake Maverick pushes LA Knight, who hits that championship, rolls up LA Knight for the 1, 2, 3. Your winner, Drake Maverick. Well, after the match, LA Knight flipped out and just started beating down Drake Maverick, forced Cameron Grimes to beat down Drake as well. Cameron Grimes didn't want to do it, and he said, hey, you are my butler, you do as I say. Cameron Grimes just punched Drake Maverick, knocked him out, and they left. The match, not that great. The segment involving the Cameron Grimes LA Knight storyline, it made sense. So, with that being said, bros, we're going to give this match a 7.2 on the bro ratings. Moving on to your main event of the evening, the Women's NXT Championship. Xia Li challenging Raquel Gonzalez. Now, this was the best match I've ever seen Xia Li wrestle. Fantastic. She looked great. She looked like an absolute threat. She had Raquel Gonzalez shook, working over the leg big time. But towards the end of the match, Raquel Gonzalez went for a springboard into an elbow drop, almost like a Vader bomb. But when she came down for this elbow drop, she just landed completely all of her body weight onto Xia Li, and the referee had to stop the match. Just, Raquel, you stay over there. She started talking to Dakota, started, getting the crowd involved, but Xia Li was there. Medical staff checked on Xia Li. We never want to see any serious injury happen mid-match like this. But Xia Li was obviously hurt, but maybe not so much that she couldn't compete because the ref let her continue. Right into the Chingona Slam, the one-arm powerbomb by Raquel. 1, 2, 3. Your winner, Raquel Gonzalez, and still NXT Women's Champion. Hope for the best for Xia Li. Hope it's not a serious injury. Now, that did take away from the match. The momentum was going. Kudos that they were still able to finish it, but it could have been better had the unfortunate injury not happened. So with that being said, bros, we're going to give this one a 7.7 on the bro ratings. Moving on. This happened in the ring for maybe 10 seconds, so we are not counting this as the bro rating, but the end of the show, Samoa Joe comes to the ring. He's looking for Cross. Karrion Kross, come out to play. Where is my young champion to come meet the reckoning? Well, Karrion Kross shows up backstage. And I think in the parking lot backstage area, and Kross says, you know what? This is my world now. And I am the way of the beginning. I can go wherever I want. I can hurt whoever I want. For example. And they show William Regal, who had been choked out, and he was the person who went to sleep. Well, Joe immediately storms out of the ring, goes to the back. Karrion Kross says, hey, Joe, do you still feel like you're in control? Who provoked who? Great end to NXT. Great continuation of the storyline. Fantastic job at the end here. So, with that being said, bros, your match of the night, Kyle O'Reilly versus Austin Theory. Fantastic stuff. Go check that out. There were a couple other matches that were very close. But still had 8 matches or in-ring segments. Again, way too much here. We're going to give that an average of 7.43. So now it's time for Jimmy the Gibson's world-famous predictions. What's gonna happen? Well, I'll tell you what. Next week, we're gonna have Pete Dunne and Oney Lorcan will defeat Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. And in the NXT Breakout Tournament, it will be Josh Briggs will defeat Carmelo Hayes. And in the main event, it's going to be Adam Cole, baby, will defeat Bronson Reed. So there you have it, bros. All right, with that being said, I'm going to put a sock in it. Until next time, I'm your host, Jimmy the Gibson. Please like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. And if anybody out there can put me in touch with Brimstone, I will gladly accept any help he can give this channel. Until next time, for some more NXT Fix. Later, bros.